Hi, Monday
Jesus
Sports Podcast.
Christ.
Do I talk louder than Suze? There you
Slightly.
go. Yeah, sorry. Yes. Yeah.
You're going to ruin her headphones as well.
Oh, we're stretching them out?
Yeah. I'm getting a new pair from Luke.
That's the last thing I do before I pack up and you walk in is make sure I compress the headphones down again to a normal person's size. So.
What are we starting with, gentlemen?
Well, off air, you were talking about the Lions. We've got Nick in here, and he's our resident AFL expert.
We
the
beat
Lions.
the Swans.
Yeah, huge result yesterday afternoon. The Lions are now 7 on the trot, and you've got to remember they started the season 0-3. Multitude of injuries, people calling premiership hangover, and they were in a really bad way, but they've been playing with just a level of freedom now, and all of a sudden, most of their players are back. Their young star, Will Ashcroft, he's back in the side. Lachie Neale yesterday Sydney had to double team him to negate his impact on the game. They did keep him quiet, but everyone else stood up. So to get that win now, they're really in for a shot. Top 4 finish is really what they should be going for. And if they can somehow lock away, it'll be tough, but they can lock away 2 home finals at the Gabba again. The grand final and a possible premiership are back on the cards.
Where are we on the ladder?
We're sitting 3rd at the moment.
Wow, that's happened quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, they were out of the 8 only a couple of weeks ago.
How far off Sydney are we now? Since
Sydney is still a couple of games ahead.
Gotcha.
So they've dropped 3 of their last 4. But I wouldn't be too concerned about that. They kind of just broke from the pack early, but a lot of teams have started to work them out. They'll still be incredible at home. If they can get their 2 home finals, they'll be straight through.
There's a big fight back at the second quarter. What were Brisbane leading at quarter time? Like 31-9, 31-8 or something?
Yeah,
And
got
then-
out to about a 5-goal lead.
Yeah.
But that's how like AFL is at the moment. Goals just come in waves. So a lead almost means nothing these days.
Will Ashcroft, talk to me about him. How old is Will Ashcroft?
So he is probably 1920 this year. So came in first season, son of, you remember the great Marcus Ashcroft, the 3-time premiership player for the Lions. And he dominated his juniors, came through, did the ACL last year, which was about to win the Rising Star. Does the ACL, has come back within probably 10, 11 months. They really protected him. And now he's just warming his way back up. So he'll be primed for finals. And that, which then takes a lot of load off our man Lachie Neale, off Josh Dunkley, off Hugh McCluggage in the middle. So if the Lions can keep their list as good as it is right now, there's pretty much, I don't think there's many teams that can stop them.
I remember I was in Honolulu once, and over Christmas holidays, I'm lying on the beach of Waikiki, bronzing up,
as you do.
He's still bronze now.
Thank you. No, but Marcus Ashcroft was there with his family, and I remember his kids. It must have been Will. We're talking because I'm going back 10 years. He was just a 10-year-old, little kid. But I remember him. I remember the kid. I'm being like he went out surfing, and Marcus was letting him go out surfing just at Waikiki. But it was big that day, and I remember thinking, God, that kid's got some. My kids weren't surfing that day. Like it was kind of too big for them on the reef, and we were watching him surf, and I was like, he's a really good athlete, this kid. So to see him like 10 years later, now he's actually emulating what his old man did.
The scary thing is,
It's pretty cool.
There's a younger brother who will be taken as a father-son by the Lions at the end of this year, who they believe is even better.
Wow.
Levi Ashcroft.
Levi?
Yeah.
How old's he?
He'll be turning 18 this year.
Really?
Yeah. I see
Wow.
your eyes light up there. Yeah, a big error for Levi's.
It was actually. When we had Levi, I remember
What year was Levi born?
our Levi.
Yeah.
Well, he's just about to turn 21.
Hmm.
Like this month, August.
Sidebar,
So
is his full
two-
name
two-
Leviticus?
2003. Levi was born 2003. Yeah. But I remember not long after Levi was born, and when we said, "What's his name?" to the nurse, and we went Levi, she did this. Is what she did. She was writing, "What's the name?" And we went Levi. She went. It was like
She's a nurse on the Gold Coast. She's
I
seen
hadn't heard
worse.
of another Levi. Yeah, but then there seems to be a whole host of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like Craig Lowndes had a kid called Levi, and now you're telling me Marcus Ashcroft.
Well, we weren't going to see another kid called Craig, were we?
No,
Craig Jr.
You could do better. And they got another. Their daughter's name's Chili too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
pretty
it.
cool, isn't it? It's pretty cool. All right, we're getting way off track.
Yeah,
here. All right,
so-
thank you for
No,
that.
no, thank you.
But I'm just looking at the ladder. It is a tight race in that top 8. Look, the Lions are in third on 46. That's a share really between them and Freo. They are 1 win above 8th spot.
Yeah.
There are 3 teams tied on 44 competition points, and then 3 out of the 8 that are tied on 40. So they're less than a win away from jumping in the 8. That's huge with 5 rounds remaining.
Well, let's hope that they can continue on there. If they keep winning, they'll be there or thereabouts. Let's switch gears and talk to Mitch about the rugby league, because a congested leaderboard. I know the Broncos got back into the winners' circle on the weekend. I thought they looked so much better with Reynolds there steadying the ship. But Reece just looked like he was as dangerous as he's ever been. Everything seemed to be sticking. They scored some nice tries and nearly scored some even better ones, like Ezra dropping that ball when they Reece put the grubber kick through. I mean, there was some classy touches from the Broncos, but subsequent to that, the Cowboys match yesterday, I found myself, like I was cheering. I'd backed the Cowboys, with money too, but then I found myself kind of cheering for the Doggies, because it would have been better for us if the Doggies had have won that match. We need...
It's a bit further ahead.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're already well established in the 8, and the Cowboys are one of those teams now that we need to leapfrog to get back into the 8.
Who else is in and around the Bronx?
Canberra.
Canberra?
Yep.
Aren't they?
Yep,
Yeah.
they're just above us. That's 1 win above us. 2 wins above us in 9th is the Dragons, but they're one of 4 teams on 24 competition points. So it's just for and against, separating 6, 7, 8, and 9th.
And we got the Broncos have a bye still to come, right?
Still to come, couple
But
of weeks away.
So do the Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're the only. So the Bronx and Cowboys are the only teams within that sort of area. I guess in the Knights.
The
all have byes coming up.
Knights are level on competition points with the Broncos.
I
now.
can't believe that.
They've still got that bye.
The Warriors are still in it. They're 14th. That's crazy how congested that middle pack is.
I really believe that. I think it's a sham that we have Golden Point. I mean, you look at what the Dolphins did yesterday. To take Penrith to, they drew with them. Like, that is 1 competition point. 1 competition point at the end of a season.
Well, they were in front for a chunk of the match. Like, they earned what would have been a share of the points,
I believe a draw is a result. Like, and not when you go to grand finals and everything where it's must win. You must have a winner. But in general competition, I don't, for the life of me, see what is wrong with a draw.
I agree.
Yeah, I know we've had this conversation before, and I said I reckon at the ground you want a result, whereas at home, because you haven't paid, you haven't gone, you've done all the travelled and all that, it's probably a little bit easy to accept. But I reckon that I'm probably thinking selfishly as a Broncos fan. In a Broncos game, I want a result. Whereas that game yesterday, Penrith and the Dolphins, I'm like, you know what? I would have been happy with that. I would have been happy to see the Dolphins share the points. Like the idea that in Golden Point, a 40-metre field goal was what decided that match. And great script written. Nathan Cleary's been out for 10 weeks. He comes by 2 minutes into Golden Point. He has a clutch play, 15 metres in from the sideline to kick that goal. But, I know Wayne Bennett was blowing up about it last night, saying he's never been... I mean, it sounds funny in hindsight.
It's not sour grapes from
no,
because
he's always said it.
He's been adamant about that for a long time.
Yeah,
and I do agree with him.
Yeah. To walk away with nothing to show for it. You got pride, but it means nothing. Like, especially when your team just on the precipice of finals there.
No, and it's a totally different game as well. It becomes a totally different game that I don't enjoy it. The actual Golden Point period, I don't enjoy it because it's too.
It's too up to chance.
It's too one-dimensional. It's too, that you are going for that kick, and you just need that field position. And sure, you need to execute it, and Cleary is unreal. That ball was still climbing.
Yeah,
it was 42 metres out.
Kick.
It was still climbing,
and it was in the It was in the middle of the post too. It wasn't like he just got lucky or anything like that.
I'm pretty sure it went in the crowd, didn't it? Like it was.
Yeah.
It was pretty
flying.
close.
It was a great kick.
He got such a big piece of it,
and I think too, you feel almost more let down when very few of them play out in Golden Point where you still don't get a result. But you feel more let down when you do get that extra 10 minutes and still don't get a result. So you're better off just calling it at the end of the 80 minutes and going, oh, it's a draw now.
What do you think about extra time? So, however many minutes, 5 minutes each way, no Golden Point. So you give them 10 more minutes to get a result.
Well, to Ash's point, that takes away the one-dimensional element of it.
That's what I mean. So this because
So I'm all for when you get into finals football and you've got to have a winner. Like, I don't want rematches. You know, like you only have to go back to 1978. That's like, I was alive then, boys. And 1978, there was a
how was it, Papa?
There was a grand final. Cronulla and Manly, they play the grand final. It's a draw. And then they come back on the Tuesday. Like on the Tuesday afternoon. Can you imagine that? It's like, seriously, I'm going to be blind drunk from Saturday night through until Tuesday in February. But they bring them back for
whoever doesn't get as drunk wins the Tuesday game.
Yeah. So I like there being a winner on the day or when it's do or die, must win. But in club footy, this is what gets you to the big dance. It's all about getting to the big dance.
Yeah, well, the Dolphins now, like I said, they're in 7th, one of 4 teams on 24. So, I mean, for and against is the only thing keeping them inside the 8, technically, whereas they could have been, at least 2 points above.
Well, one point for the Dolphins yesterday would take them to 25. They would have leapfrogged the Bulldogs.
Yep.
And they'd be clear of the Bulldogs, the Cowboys, the Dragons, and they'd be 3 points clear of the Raiders and everyone else that's in their wake.
The Broncos in 11th on 20 points. If they start to put together a couple of wins, and they've got a fair draw coming up, like everyone said, their last sort of 6-7 weeks of the season were easier than the previous 6 or 7, that could be a threat. So like that 1 point could make all the difference in 6-7 rounds time for them.
You don't want teams missing out for and against.
Is it impossible to end up on a odd number of points?
Yeah. Yeah, there's been one draw this year. That there was a draw between Manly and the Warriors, and so they did split the competition point, and that is effectively as good as a win for both of those teams. Like Manly now is on.
That's what I'm saying. It puts you 1 point.
It does. Manly's on 25 points, and like the Roosters, for example, are one above them on 26, and the Bulldogs one below on 24. But they've jumped clear of that. And that's the other thing. You're going to go, okay, we're going to play 10 minutes of golden point, and if at the end of that a draw is successful, well, just make it the 80 minutes.
Yeah,
like you're not opposed to having a draw. Yeah, you're just opposed to having it without the golden point.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go back cold, but if they were, I like the extra time thing. If we have to have one or the other, if we have to have what we've got, or a little bit closer to getting that draw, then the extra time. I don't mind the extra time because I hate a field goal fest, and if field goal is only going to get you 1 point ahead, and we're still going to play it another 9 minutes to get a proper draw where both teams have got even opportunities, then go for that. But
here's another question. I heard someone talking about this the other day, and their argument was that it's all semantics. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day because at the end of the day, the best team always wins the grand final, and the 2 best teams are always in the grand final.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's true?
I think sometimes. No, I don't necessarily think
Last year it was.
Yeah, last year definitely was. But then
Definitely
were Parramatta the best team
2 years ago?
2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever they played? I don't think they were they?
Well, who did they beat was it the semi or the prelim? There was a bit of, was it them?
I can't remember.
Was it Penrith maybe? One of the teams, there was a lot of controversy around their win, either the prelim or the semi-final to get into the prelim. And it was up against a team like Melbourne or the Roosters, like one of the other really strong teams. So it wasn't like they came in and had an easy run or anything. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Definitely the best team always wins it. But yeah, I don't know, that's sort of the
because the NRL doesn't have a pre-finals bye like the AFL, it rewards the team that is carrying the most momentum from the end of the season. It doesn't allow teams to just have a great finals campaign and make a 4-week run. So you will see those best 2 teams get through at the end because they've got their list sorted. They're peaking at the right time.
They get the rest.
So here's
that's vital.
So the Eels in that year played the first final against, so I assume it was 1v4. They must have finished 4th in that year. They played Penrith in the first semi-final, lost 27-8. Then they got drawn up against the Raiders. They won that game 40-4. In the prelim final, they came up against the Cowboys, won 24-20.
Maybe that was
the grand final.
And then they got to the grand final. So it was you'd argue.
What was the grand final result?
28-12 Penrith.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a shit grand final.
That was a bad grand final.
They did that in second gear, didn't they? The Panthers from memory.
It was over half time.
Yeah.
And it hurt me is because I think at that stage of my life, Parramatta were my least liked team in the entire competition, but I found myself barracking for them because it was like, oh well, Penrith are going to go.
They had their nice story the year
go back,
before.
yeah, exactly. They're going to go back to back. Parramatta had that story of like, this will be our first grand final win in nearly 40 years. I'm like, you know what? I'll overlook my hatred of Mitch Moses and Clint Gutherson, and at the time Nathan Brown, and probably another 3 players that I can't stand in the league.
That's weird. I hate Parramatta.
Yeah,
I just find it so strange. They're a nothing team.
no, I feel like that now, but at the time there were so many like individual players that I just couldn't cop. Like Gutho, and I think at that stage Nathan Brown had one incident where it just made me hate him, and it was from like 2 or 3 years earlier, and I never got over it. Now he plays in Manly, I couldn't care less.
He's been good for them too.
Yeah.
This year, but I remember the grand final that I was like, I don't even know if I will watch. I remember Manly and the Roosters, whenever that was.
13?
13, yeah.
13. We were down at Yamba, and I was like, I just don't give a shit about that.
Neither.
It's like, which dog shit would I rather step in?
It hurts, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good win for the Chooks. Weird one too, because that was Daly won. Man, didn't he win the Clive Churchill
I think
for
he
that?
did.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was an up and down game.
for a losing side. Yeah, it was a weird one. If we're done with the league check, because you went to you for AFL. Formula One overnight,
Oscar
guys.
Piastri. I haven't
What's
watched
going
it yet.
on?
That's unbelievable. McLaren's definitely the fastest car now in F1. They've like jumped above Red Bull. Mercedes
really?
is up there.
What?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yep.
So,
Fastest car.
what happened to Verstappen in this one?
He had a collision with. I haven't watched it. He had a collision with Hamilton at some point, but last few weeks the Red Bull
Really?
cars dropped. They got because of the they got found over the salary cap last year or the year before. I can't remember. I think it was like the year before. But they got, as a result of that, they lose a certain amount of performance based on the fact that there's like wind tunnel time and stuff they don't get. So everyone knew that they'd start off strong, but then developmentally they would struggle as the year went on, and it's exactly how it's happened.
Really?
So Oscar's in a good spot. He could have easily... Lando Norris was ahead with a few laps to go, and they swapped the cars around because, Oscar was technically, I think, quicker. But, nearly didn't work for him. So he got the win.
He's had a really nice build over the last month.
Oscar?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all to do with the car as well is doing really well.
Has Verstappen got the world title wrapped up?
I don't think officially, but it'd be pretty... I don't think he'll
Right.
get caught.
And this will be what for him?
Third?
Third?
Third or fourth. I can't remember. 21, maybe fourth.
So what's end of year? What is the best possible result from the Australian view for Oscar Piastri?
I don't think he's in with a shot at the title. And
But where would you want to see him sort of finishing? Yeah,
probably fourth, I'd say, would be good. Yeah, because they started. So McLaren started off really bad. So at the beginning of the year, McLaren even came out and said, "Oh, we've discovered something in our car too late on to make any sort of significant changes before the season starts, but we're going to rectify it, and by the end of the season, we hope to be doing what we want to do." And that's kind of hurt, I think, them a little bit. Lando Norris is doing really well, though. I'm trying to find the standings. Hang on.
Well, you do. It will be Verstappen's fourth if he does go on to win. I'm just looking at prior to that. So it'll be 4 Verstappens off the back of 4 straight Lewis Hamiltons.
Yeah.
And Lewis Hamilton won 6 of those 7 years leading up to Verstappen. So it's just been...
Who got the other one?
Nico Rosberg in 2016.
Controversially as well.
Really?
Yeah, that was his teammate, Lewis's teammate. Oscar's in 5th at the moment.
Is he? That's pretty good.
Yeah, Lando Norris is in 2nd. So yeah, I think, I mean, he's still within striking distance of like 3rd, so it could be Max, Lando, Oscar. It's pretty good. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo had a shocking race.
Is he going to get picked up next year?
Well, there's rumours floating around. I don't know. Sergio Perez, who drives for Red Bull at the moment, finished in the points. He finished 7th. Ricciardo finished 12th. But there's rumours going around that they're going to get rid of Perez and bring in Daniel Ricciardo.
Really?
For 1 year, yeah. Sort of as like a stopgap.
Mm.
But he's not driving that well. And his teammate, Yuki Tsunoda, came 9th, so ahead of him. But strategy kind of stuffed him around.
And Xander Schauffele, what's his name?
Schauffele.
Schauffele.
Yeah.
He won the
What's
Open.
she order?
Very good. Very good. His second major of the year.
Yeah.
British Open overnight.
Did you see the back 9, or the scoring in the 3rd round at Is it Royal Troon where they play that?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's it. Is it? No.
I can't remember.
St Andrews.
St Andrews, is it? The
Because one
school.
of the Scottish Open was at Royal Troon, wasn't it?
Royal Troon.
Royal Troon.
Was-
I
yeah.
thought
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
They but Lachie, the course was it was so difficult, particularly the back nine in the third round. Everybody was saying that back nine was the hardest golf I've ever played.
Yeah.
And these are like
Wow.
these are like seasoned pros. They added together for the whole.
I saw this.
Did you see this? For the whole of
Yeah.
the 18 holes, the worst score from a player
Every hole.
on every hole, and then added it up, it was 126 for a round of golf. There was
What do you reckon you'd hit there?
oh well, I mean, clearly nothing like 126 then.
No.
You know what
Isn't
I mean?
that that's 57 over par, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, it's 57 over par, 126. Now that's like if you go out, I played at Royal Pines yesterday. If you go and hit 126 there.
Yeah, that's
Like
a shit day.
You're
There's
trying to miss.
There's something wrong with you. like you've got to be really, really bad to hit.
You can be
100.
crap and hit 110.
You could almost putt the whole from the start. And if you had 126 strokes up your sleeve, you probably would be able to get it done. I guess you'd avoid bunkers for the most part.
Book us in. The end of the year, the five of us,
That's
we're going
pretty
out
funny.
there and see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
See if you could putt.
But
less
only
than
with a putter.
126. There was a golfer, like a pro golfer, and on that back nine, he got back-to-back nines.
Oh my god.
Like that's something you could do, eh? Like
Yeah.
in your own round, oh far out, I got 2 nines in a row. That's 18 strokes in 2 holes.
2 nines is almost like, for a golfer like me, is like, oh, I stayed out of double figures again. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still play, like even in our golf now, we still play. Like if you get to 10, like it doesn't matter if you're going for 13, you take a 10.
Yeah.
You stop playing on your 10 on your 10s. Like you
Pick up your ball.
Yeah.
Your own mental health. Just do it.
You're into mental health, like a mental health
Mercy
thing.
rule.